Oh, how is everyone doing? I hope you have sound. That's always the case with
I
me,
have
to make sure
sound.
that we
I
have
can
sound.
hear
Okay.
you.
Okay, good.
Is that good?
I
I
hope
don't know
everyone
that
else
anyone
can
else
hear.
can.
You know how that is with me. Sometimes I start with sound, sometimes I don't. But good. I'm glad that
Oh,
you can hear me anyway.
Mert
What?
said yes. Mert
Oh,
said yes, so
yes.
you're good.
Okay. So we got sound. Great. Man, I'm glad everybody's here. This one is kind of near and dear to my heart because I love this one today that we're going to be talking about. Yes, you hear us. Good. Fantastic. Glad to see everybody out
Can I just
there.
bring this up? I just have to bring this up because Ron is he already knows this is how it goes. I'm going to tell you where I'm from before you even ask the question. Love it, Ron.
All
Love
right,
it.
so I guess I'll do it now, but I'll wait till our guest gets here. Hold on. Everybody knows. I mean, everybody's into a routine. I love it, but we'll do that in just a second.
Yeah.
Well, let's go ahead. Let's bring on Randall Leverette, who is a product expert, the same as myself. Met him, awesome, great guy. He knows so much stuff. I'm telling you, I use him as a resource. But here we go,
oh my gosh,
Randall.
This is the source of all of Michael's knowledge is Randall. Welcome, Randall.
Hello, everybody.
That's awesome. That's
safe
awesome.
social distancing.
That's
Hope
right.
everybody's safe and healthy.
I tell you though, you seriously, you know this because I used you as a resource like last week, I think, when I was trying to set up my TV with my Pixel Buds.
Well, actually, and when you did that in the hangout that we had earlier this week, and it was like, oh, good, I gave him the right answer because she gave you the exact same answer that I gave you. So
exactly, I know,
feel good.
I know, I love it. That's why, and I couldn't believe it because we were in that hangout together. And you didn't ask any questions. I was like, oh my God, this is great. They were spot on. No, but seriously, those are a pretty darn good product. And all of it part of the ecosystem of the assistant, which is kind of awesome. I love that. And that's what we're talking about today. Yeah. Those of you that don't know, tell everybody a little bit. Okay, first of all, where are you from? And I'll do this for everybody. We got to do this, get this out of the way. Where are you from? Tell everybody where you're from.
I am from the Empire State. I'm from New York. Live in New York City and am out of the sauna of COVID, and I'm in upstate New York now in New Paltz, which is probably about an hour and a half away from New York City, at what usually is the weekend place, to stay safe, so that I can do social distancing and have my neighbors acres away from me instead of on top of me when in an apartment building in New York City. So awesome. That's where I am.
That's great. That's fantastic. Yeah. Okay, so now tell us about what we're talking about today. Tell us about how you got started with we're going to say the A word instead of saying, because I don't want to set everybody's devices off, and the G word.
The A and the G.
Yeah.
The A and the G.
So talk to us a little bit about that.
We could do echo. Well, let's say echo.
Yeah,
echo.
There you go.
There you go. Echo.
And maybe just assistant or something for G or something. I don't know, whatever.
Yeah. So, I mean, I'm, as you know, I'm pretty technology agnostic. I'll try anything once.
I do know that.
Not the same with food, but I am with technology. I will try any technology once. And I guess back in 2015, I got, as a Prime member, I got an invitation from Amazon to beta the Echo. Awesome. The huger ones. So it was for $99. So I got like 2 or 3 of them, one for upstairs, one for downstairs, one for the apartment in the city. And, I just started tinkering and playing with them and got used to it. But basically I tend to use the Echo devices for my shopping lists and for listening to music, much in the same way that I use the home devices. I'm not much for automation with respect to some things, other than, I have them set up for routines and things, but I have such OCD that I freak out that they don't carry out the commands the way that I want them.
Oh, that is exactly how I feel. Yes. Yes.
In the order that I want them to. So, I've limited, I have my routine. I get up in the morning and I say, news feed, and I have all my news feeds all set up and they go for like 2 or 3 hours. And I listen and I catch up on everything, but I'm kind of handy when it comes to doing the tinkering, because as you know, I'm a PE like you are with the Google Home Nest products, and I became involved with that simply because I migrated from the iDevice as a phone to an Android device, and I needed to learn about how to understand what this new thing was. So I dumped myself in the forums to learn a lot about Android phones because I had been using the iPhone forever. And
actually did become an expert yourself just by going in and asking questions, didn't you?
Well, actually, yeah, because what ultimately happened was I found that there were, because I did it because I wanted to try Google Fi, which is the phone service. And so what I ended up doing is going in there and I researched things to the hilt. And then I started at, going and looking for specific answers to questions. And then I found that people who were also trying to migrate from the iPhone were asking questions and what was the best way to do things. And I was able to answer those questions. And I was like, oh, wow. See, I'm helping people, and I've only been doing this for a month, and it kind of felt really, really good. And so I migrated, after doing that for a little bit, I got invited to do play music, partially I would assume because I was answering some of the non-obvious questions related to music licensing and intellectual property and stuff like that, and the people in play were like, oh, gee, do you want to be a PE for play? So I migrated to play, and then
that's awesome.
Yeah, I moved to home because guess what? Home is a dumb box without content, and content comes from play and news and whatever. And that kind of sort of was my background here in New York. I mean, I was, first I was at HBO, and then I was at Disney. So
yeah, you said you were in the TV end of it, right?
Yeah. So I know a lot about thievery of people's intellectual property and why things are done the way they are so that you can only listen to a device in one place and not 3 different places. So it's just been a way for me to use the knowledge that I have from work to help people enjoy products that I enjoy tinkering with.
Exactly. So let me ask you this. Okay. So obviously you have both systems and all that kind of stuff. And I understand why you started with, because they didn't even have the G assistant at all. So I get that. So now that you do have both, one thing is I want to see or hear really in your opinion, because you do have both, are there certain things that one can do, not necessarily better, or maybe so better? I mean, I don't know. Is there things that you always go to one for this and one, does that make sense? Am I making sense?
Yeah, no, it makes perfect sense.
Oh, hold on. Hey, thank you, Construction Cronies, with the $5. I appreciate you. Thank you so much.
Yes, what a nice always thank contributors.
That's right, exactly. There it is. See, hold on, I gotta put it on screen. Here we go. It's always a little delay there, but thank you, sir. I appreciate you. What a kind gentleman. Thank you. All right, go ahead. Fire away.
Let me tell you, sometimes because I have both of these things, I feel like my grandmother. My grandmother would call off all the grandkids' names when you're standing in front of her, and it was like, and then she would get mad because you didn't answer her, because it was like, well, I'm not the person you keep calling for. She's like, well, you know what I mean. And that's kind of sort of how I am with both Home and Echo. Sometimes I think I'm talking to the Echo when really I'm talking to the Home, and they tell me that you're not talking to me. I can't do that. I can't help you with that. And then I have to like, oh Jesus, I gotta, go back and do it. But to answer your question, I tend to use my Echo device for my shopping lists and simple searching and shopping. It's really bad for search. Obviously, I think Google has cornered the market on search, so they do a much better job with search. So when I want to do a search for a location or this or that or the other, I will migrate to the Home device because it also sends the information to my phone. and I also have Android Auto in the car, and so it's just it's a far more integrated kind of system. Boy, I'll keep talking, and people keep giving money.
I know. Please do.
Yes,
That's awesome. That's excellent. That's excellent. I love it.
So, I mean,
that's interesting. Okay, so the search gives you. Oh, there you go, dear Myrtle. So the search is what's giving you. Thank you so much, you guys. I appreciate you guys. You know that the search kind of gives you that. It's kind of a heads up kind of thing, just because that's what Google does, I guess, is what I'm getting out.
Yeah, I mean, it's far superior to me as far as search is concerned.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, if you can ask an Echo a search question and you'll get something basic from it, but if you ask Google something, it will, it will go, it'll drone on and on and on and on and on. I
want to ask you this one. This is a personal one that I want to, and I'm just curious whether the A one will do this. I don't want to set people's device off that have it turned on. The A one, can you just say, hey, send a text message? Because I know that from our home, we can't do that. We can do it from our phone, but we can't do it from our home. I'm curious.
Well, I'm gonna tell you, I have not tried it because, again, that's one of those automated things with my OCD where if I'm gonna send you a text message, I want to make sure that it's not misspelling something and something doesn't come out incorrectly. Like if I'm talking about a concert pianist and it doesn't come out as something else,
100%. I get it.
So I tend not to use it for those sorts of things, but I mean, I could check to see if there is, what Echoes have the ability, and what they have a tendency to have lots of different individual apps written by different people to carry out certain commands. So it's possible that there is a command or an app in the Echo store that will allow you to do that. And while we're talking, I'll call up the app on my phone and see if there's something that will allow you to
again
to
I'm
do
just
that.
More curious than anything else. So
all right, so let's talk to the audience for just a second. Richard's saying, I don't have an iProduct, so I talk to them. So to talk to them, I use Duo for those that have it. So he's talking about not being able to do Apple, what is it called? FaceTime? Like FaceTime. Yeah. And then Mike says, I keep my single G device physically distant from my A team of devices. Earlier, he did a hashtag go A team. But Lucy says, I don't actually own either of these products, but have thought about purchasing one in the future. So this is really interesting to hear about both. And Mert is mentioning that she might get the Google device. So that's kind of cool.
One thing,
the guy who's saying he keeps them separated. Oh, I put them in misery together. I put them right next to each other. No social distancing. They're right on the same shelf, so they can both yell at me when I'm talking to the other one when I really mean the other one, like my grandmother. So I make them live on the same shelf together. And I even have an Android figurine sitting on top of my Echo device out of spite,
just to make it more superior.
Exactly.
Well, one thing that happened probably about a month or two ago, and I will get to this question in just a second. They integrated Assistant with Keep, which for me, I'm a avid Google Keep user. Okay. Oh, sorry if I said anybody's device because of the G word, and since they added List, I can have like a Lowe's list or a Home Depot list or a Walmart list, a grocery list or whatever. And I can have a Christmas list and I can tell the assistant to grab that and do that. And that to me has been a lifesaver for a lot of things, even taking notes, like if Heather and I are putting an agenda together, we can just say that to the device and add it to Keep, which I absolutely have fallen in love with. I understand what you're talking about with the grocery though, because I know that it's very advanced on the Echo side. So I just wanted to touch on that.
Well, that is the reason why I use the Echo device for the shopping list, because it's integrated into the app, the A app on my phone. It's not, I don't have to open up something separately. It's not, and so when my spouse and I are, I can just say, put blump blump on the shopping list, and we both share the same thing. And it's like, if they're in the grocery store, whatever I've yelled at that's going to be on the list is on the list that they've got in the grocery store. It's not a function of it being assigned to, my Google account or their Google account. It's just on the list for the Echo, and it's the shopping list. And you can create additional lists with the Echo device, but I tend to shy away from it's kind of, and this is again one of my little pet peeves. I have a tendency to not like devices that have apps that make you open other apps when they just serve as the front door to them.
Right. No, I know what you're saying.
And another example that I constantly complain about, it's like, I have a Nordstrom, I shop at Nordstrom sometime, and I have a Nordstrom's charge account. But whenever I want to pay my bill, I have to open, I have to go in the Nordstrom app, and then it pops me into the web browser to log into my credit card account, and that annoys me. It's like, I don't want all that extra step. And so it's why I stay away from.
I got you. That makes
Keep.
a lot of sense too.
I actually hate Keep.
Really?
I despise Keep.
Wow. Okay. Okay, that's interesting. Okay.
So you can teach me as much as you want about Keep, but I don't know.
You're not going there.
Not going there. Just
no, that's fine. I get that. I understand that. I mean, and that's a good thing to hear though, because I'm so driven with the Google stuff and on that side. It's always good to hear other perspectives. So Heather,
okay, so here's the thing, to back up to what you were originally asking. Now, I just typed into the Echo app, and it's actually called Alexa. That's the app. And I typed in text messages and calls, and there were 3,919 results.
Wow.
And one of them is called text to voice. Another one is Call Assistant. Alexa, ask Call Assistant to call my boss and tell that I will be late. I mean, it's so it has the ability, but again, these are all things that are done kind of sort of like if not
if this and that,
if this then that, it's so. These are a lot of individual apps that people have gotten the API for, and Alexa or Echo has allowed them to tap in and use it for certain things. But I mean, for example, I'll tell you another thing that I use the Echo for more than I use the home device for. Calendar, because with the calendar, the Echo device will give me my recurring all-day appointments, like birthdays or something. You do not get that, at least not yet, with a home device.
That what I was going to ask you about that, because what I've experienced with my Google G with my G. Oh my gosh, is that I want my events for the day, and she'll give me the first 3 or something. It's like it's a weird limit.
Right. And what the Echo will say is, you've got 8 appointments for today. Here are your first 3, and then it'll say, do you want to hear more? And I usually say, shut up, because
that's enough. That's
enough.
So we have some questions from the audience.
You will always get your birthdays, or pick up the kid for soccer practice at 10, stuff that's all day that you don't want it to eat up a block of time, but something you need to do, and then you just tick it off. But you will get those with an Echo, but you won't get them, at least I haven't had it
with the home device
that way with a home device. So
that's interesting.
What was
well, I was just going to say the audience has several questions, so I do want to get to a few of these. Huey says, which device would you use to catch up with feeds? That's a great question.
When you mean feeds, are you news feeds? Is that the
Probably.
kind of?
Probably.
Okay. Well, for news feeds, I mean, they both work very, very well because, for example, you know, one of my favorite places to get either live TV to listen to without having the visual distraction is TuneIn. So TuneIn is both on the Echo and the home device. And I've got all the things that I like to listen to: the Wall Street Journal, the New York Times, the Daily, you know, whatever
Gotcha.
stock market news or
So really
tech
both,
news.
you really both have.
Yeah. So they both have
pull
them.
in whatever. Yeah.
And you just have to pull them in with what you want to do. But I mean, I like the routine function that the home device has, and that is my go-to for catching up on my feeds because I've got a list, and because I'm sort of a pro at it, I know where all the stuff is, so I don't have to hunt and search for it, and I can just go and do it and be done with it.
It's a matter of using it, right? A matter of using it that makes it happen.
Yeah.
Here's another question from Lucy, and this is one that I'm sorry, Michael.
No, you're
but
fine.
This is one that I have too, because this is where I struggle. I really wanted my G to play me music. Like I just wanted to say, play this song, play this playlist, play. And I'm not having that kind of ability, but what Lucy's asking is, do you have to have something synced to it? And which one's best?
Well, there are a couple of things. I mean, with the Echo, you're obviously going to be, you can have multiple music services, but their music service of choice is, of course, Amazon Music. I have it, and most of my songs, but you know what they did was they removed the ability for you to upload your own music library to them.
Yes.
So that has eliminated me using them for music.
Same here, which is why I got really frustrated.
Well, and this is where my music background comes in with some of this stuff. One of the things you need to think about is when you ask it, you can't ask a home device to play a particular song if you don't have a subscription. That's probably why you're not getting what you want when you want it. But if you have uploaded your music, and I think the Google Home Lock, the Google Play Music Locker is 50,000 songs at this point. If you upload your music to the locker, you can ask it to play music from your library. So you would need to say something like, play Beethoven's Fifth Symphony from my music library. And then it would play that specific song.
Now I've done that, and it's music that I've purchased that I actually have on my phone, and I've uploaded it, and it still says, I can't play that title right now. You need to subscribe.
Well,
it's so strange.
Okay, so then the question becomes, and and most people purchased and uploaded are, where did you purchase it from? That's number one. Number two, the music that you purchased, and depending on how old it is, may still contain digital rights management. After a certain period of time, they started doing away with that. But if you purchased music from some no-name place or some music sharing site from somebody else,
or from the assistant competitor A,
correct. Okay,
it will not play those.
Okay, well, here's how you do that. Here's how you might be able to fix that, because you see some of the music that is from Amazon, when it was originally purchased, was DRM'd. And after a certain period of time, you should be able to go back into your library, and they will replace your locked version with an unlocked version, but you have to physically go and see if that is a library or an artist who has allowed them to do that for you. Once you do that, then you should be able to upload it, because I've got, for example, I've got various, I listened to all kinds of music because of the industry that I was in. So I've got some Michael Jackson and some jazz and some classical, and some of the things that I purchased earlier on that will play in Amazon's music library, because that's where I first put them, will not play until I get rid of the DRM that's on them when I upload them. So Home will
what
see
a bunch
them.
of hoops to jump through.
Right. Home will see them, and you will see the title, but it's going to tell you that it can't play it because you've been locked out of it. Because what happens is there is a metadata tag for each song that is uploaded, and you're not actually with Google Home. You're not actually uploading your music at all. What they're doing is they are matching. What you're doing is you're giving them
whatever song
you're giving them access to come into your library, and it catalogs the songs in your library. And what it does is it says, oh, I've got that one, so I don't need to upload it. Oh, I've got that one, I don't need to upload it. And I don't know how they do it, but they assign your account to that music along with 60 billion other people, which allows you to play it. The only time they upload the music is if you upload something that is so obscure, that is so old, that it runs through it and it says, oh, I don't have that, but this belongs to you and you want to upload it. We will upload this song so that you can listen to it through our service. So it's just because you've uploaded it doesn't necessarily mean that you will have access to it, because it has the lock and key on it. And that's probably why it's saying you need to have a subscription in order to use it and play it.
So that's good. That's good to know. That's good information. And see, I guess because I don't have a whole lot downloaded to my phone and stuff like that. I just use I should say 𝐤𝐚𝐬𝐿, but I do have a YouTube Red, or now it's YouTube whatever subscription.
Premium.
I have the premium that I have the video and the music. So anything I ask, it plays it. It has not let me down yet. And I like you, Randall, I love to just listen to some jazz or whatever. I was a bass player, a garage band bass player. So I love to listen to some good jazz bass, and it's just fantastic. I just can't believe what they have. I mean, it's pretty amazing. So I think it's like you said, though. I think it has to be, you have to buy in, unfortunately.
Well, the young lady just had a question about Apple Music, and I will tell you that most of my music was from Lucy. Most of my music is in iTunes. And what I basically had to do, I think Apple also has the same system where it will allow you to go in and it will say, these songs are available in your library, digital rights management free. So you will need to go in there and have them convert those songs so that it removes the lock off of them so that you can now upload them. Because if generally they will upload the title of the song, but not the music itself, because it has a lock on it. There's the safety system on it prevents them from uploading the physical content, but it will take the name of the song so that you know that you have this in your library, but we just can't let you play it because it is locked. And that is not because they want to keep people from accessing their music. What people fail to realize is that you don't own any of this stuff. It's kind of like software.
That's right.
Yeah.
It is.
The word license means a whole different thing.
It does.
Correct. At any given point in time, Microsoft, Google, they could say, I want your Chrome software off of your computer. You need to send it back to me, and we will pay you because we own it. You borrow it from us. You are paying us a use fee for whatever it is. And it's the same thing with music and movies, that you don't you physically own the CD, but they have a right to demand that you return it to them because it belongs to the record company. You're just paying for the right to use it, and enjoy it. And if you violate that right in any way, they can demand that you send it back to you and take you to court, and you will lose.
Heather, put Phil's comment back up there, because I just want to answer him, because I actually do this. Can you do something like, hey, G, play from YouTube? And I can actually do that and have it play if I want. When I say this command, I can actually say on this display, and the video will start playing there, or I can say on this device and it will start playing. And I do that. And actually my sister actually did that exact thing, just so you know, on her home device, because she listens to that as well. that exact
video.
No, but I mean,
so Ronald's asked this question a couple of times. How do you deal with multiple A devices in one room? And you should be an expert on this one, Randall, because you've got all these devices in the room with you, right?
Yeah. I don't have multiple A devices in a room. I have multiple home devices in a room. So I can't really answer that question, because I've never put two of them together. But I have my A devices set up to turn off the lights upstairs and downstairs when I go. And if I'm in between floors, there's one in the bedroom and there's one in the kitchen, and they will both ding. But I believe the command is carried out by the device in the kitchen, because I may be closer to it. And that is the same way that your home device works. Your home device, the one that hears the command better and is better able to carry out the command, is the one that will shut down all the other devices that are within earshot of your command. So I presume that the Echo device does the same thing, but I don't have them on top of each other like I have. I mean, I've got a Home Max in the living room, and then I've got a Google Mini in the den, which is across from the living room, and then I've got the Nest Hub Max in the kitchen. And the Nest Hub Max seems to have bionic hearing, and it basically overrides and takes over for anything, even if I'm whispering. So I've basically had to put that
thing
mute.
Does have bionic hearing. That is, they have sound sensitivity turned up to max on the Hub device, for sure.
Yeah,
for sure. So he's specified. Ron specified Sonos speaker, Amazon TV, and Alexa device all in one room. So sorry if I just set them all off. Sorry.
Well, I can tell you, the Alexa's, the one, again, closest to me is the one that works whenever I've had it. And again, if I'm between floors, I know the one in the master bedroom hears me, because I hear its faint dink in the background. And I also hear the dink for the one in the kitchen. But I believe the one in the kitchen is the one that's carrying out the command, because the circle light is going like crazy while it's doing what it's supposed to be doing. So I believe they probably both work all the same way, in case people aren't following social distancing with their automated devices in their homes.
There are so many questions, and I don't think we're going to get to all of them today. So I'm kind of skipping over our members' questions a little bit, not totally, but a little bit, because they get a chance.
Don't rush.
We just want to make sure we save time for the community members.
Okay.
That's one of the
and that's what I was just to say. Our community members will get a chance to talk with you personally. So that's kind of why I'm skipping them a little bit. Not because I don't love them, because I do love you all. So I want to make sure that you guys know that. If you are not a member, you might want to consider it. There's a reason. I mean, being able to be backstage and chat with someone like Randall.
You're mixing
Ron might get to talk with you. That's why I said that. So, anyway.
He's a member.
It's an R. They're both R's.
They're both R's.
Tomato.
No, but listen, I really appreciate this, because one thing that I appreciate is, I feel like a lot of times I'm so lopsided. And I know you're not. You're completely agnostic. You don't care. It doesn't matter. You're all about all technology. And that's why I encourage, I'm not sure if you know Chris Gould. She does the Google Photos. She's a big time. They're going to be on our show next week. And she actually, I mean, she has like a iPhone. She has an Android device. She has all kinds to iPad, between her and her husband, they have everything because they want to be able to test and show and give the examples of using Google Photos that way. And I knew you were that way. I knew you'd be great on here to talk about that because you don't care. You say, you even told me you hate Google Keep. You just don't like it. You don't like the way it's set up. Or whatever. So I get it.
I don't like Google Calendar either, for that matter.
Right. I mean, it's
I use it, but I don't really like it.
Right. But that's what I like to have, that it's good to have a refreshing something else. Everybody gets so tired of me always talking about Google stuff. It's great to have it. And this is super.
I mean, a lot of it is you, as you see when you work with people in the thing, it's like, if it doesn't do what I want it to do, I'm going to threaten and go get something else. And it's like, knock yourself out. My attitude is, if I buy something and it doesn't do what I want, guess what? It's going back. I'm not gonna beat up on Google and say, you got to give me what I want when I want it, or I'm not going to use your, it's like, take it back. Get the thing that works, that fits with you, that works with you.
Point.
I mean, there's no reason for you to,
I love that attitude. That's
so
awesome.
in love with Google that, if they don't give, you're going to cry and whine about it. If Apple doesn't do what I want, I go buy something else. If Google doesn't do what I want, I buy something else. If Amazon doesn't do what I want, I buy something else or nothing at all.
That's a great point.
It's your money.
It
should work the way you want it to work. And if you can't get the things that you want to work the way that you want with your lifestyle, put it back, send it back. It doesn't work.
And I can actually say one thing that I really like. Go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say, I'd also add, give them feedback, because, man, I see things change regularly because of the feedback we give. So, heck yeah.
One of the things that's nice about being a product expert in products with you specifically, because I know that we've had this, you bring in a whole new perspective to a lot of things that I look at kind of with blinders on. It's kind of nice, like you'll say, I don't do that. I don't do that in my vehicle. I'm sorry. I'm going to stop. I'm going to go over here. I'm going to do, or whatever, where I do that. And so it's kind of nice to hear and see. I'm totally open to that. That's one thing I love about our community too. A lot of times when I'm teaching or doing a daily tip, I don't have to be the expert. Someone else can do that tip. It's just they're provided for the community, and that's what we do. And that's why I love that. That's why I love having you in there, because it makes for good conversation.
Well, part of it is being a control freak and having OCD. So, I mean, there are certain things that I will relinquish, like flying a jet plane when I'm going on vacation. And I'm like, is the guy who's flying paying attention, doing what they're, but I got to let it go.
Trained.
When I get on a train, right? Exactly. Those are things that I cannot control. So but the things that I want things the way that I want them, and I want it to do what I want it to do. And if you don't do what I want you to do, then I have no use. I'm gonna find something else.
I like it.
Total sense. Total sense.
And I too have I'm talking to you with a MacBook. I've got an HP Windows 10, and after they went from Windows 98 or whatever it was, I was like, I can't keep up with this. I mean, the blue screen of death, and the this, that, and the other, and the stuff you can't, everything's plug and play. And you plug it in, and it drops. Control enthusiast. That's a good one. I like that. Yeah, control enthusiast. Yes,
That's awesome.
So,
all right.
I want to say thank you, because I want to wrap it up. So we got a little bit of time with our community, everything. I really do appreciate you coming on. I always appreciate when you come on. This is a great topic, awesome topic. I learned some stuff. I learned some stuff about the other side, because sometimes I don't have the luxury or whatever to know that. So it's great to be able to have you as a resource as that too. And hopefully people, hey, listen, his Twitter information will be in the description of this event. So if you want to come back and just reach out to him, Twitter probably, I would say, is the best way or easiest way to get a hold of you, probably.
Yep.
Chat with you and that kind of thing.
Hold on.
Hey, look at that. Look at Ben's out there. Hey, Ben.
There's my buddy Ben, the Pearlmeister. There he is.
Right.
I did go ahead and put your Twitter out there.
Twitter.
There is a link. Go ahead and click on that
There you
link.
go.
Send follow Randall and ask him questions. And
That's
if we
awesome.
didn't get to your question tonight, because I know there are so many questions, if we didn't get to it, please ask again. We will get to you. I promise.
Yeah.
I promise.
Seriously, and by all means, tweet me and ask a question. Listen, last week I'm at 10 o'clock at night. Mike sends me a note. My new headphones are fighting with my Vizio TV, and I was like, okay, here's what you got to do. So, you know.
And what's funny though? Here's what's funny. Perlmutter, who's out there right now, he and I. You and him, I reached out to because you didn't respond right away. So I was having conversation with both of you. It was awesome. I love it. That's one thing I love about the community we've built as product experts as well. It's pretty awesome. So looking forward to having the community come in backstage with us. You get to come in and chat with Randall a little bit longer. I don't want to keep him here all night, but I do want to give you guys an opportunity. Like Heather said, there were so many comments I saw. Couldn't believe how many comments. And I do appreciate the engagement and everybody out there. Those who gave a super chat, Russ, Mert, and who else was he? Who am I missing? Chris 𝐶𝐞𝐬𝐽. Yes, absolutely. Thank you so much. That means a lot. I love that little bit of support. I mean, it goes a long way, and I do appreciate it. I really do. Randall, awesome guest. Thank you so much.
Thank you, guys.
We will see you in the after show, and I'm going to take us out of here. All right.
All right.
Thanks, folks. Have a good one, folks. We'll see you over there. Community members, we'll see you over there. Thanks.
Stay safe, everybody.
Exactly.